works. You never know. I reconnected the Facebook channel, so I'm hopeful. Right now, I don't even see me on YouTube. Lord. I don't see it. I don't know what's going on. I see last week's. Sometimes I just want technology to work right now. Oh, there it is. Alright, so at least I'm on YouTube if all else fails. But I will go ahead and turn off my volume and check Facebook. Ah, I'm there. It's live. Good morning. Now, what's frustrating about this is people comment on Facebook, and even though I have it here, it doesn't show me Facebook on my little app here. It says read only, except I can't even read them. Hi, Laura. Laura's on YouTube. Thank you, Laura. I can see you on YouTube, but the only way I can see the Facebook comments is if I have like Facebook running in the background. And that's fine. It's just, good morning, Tina. I like being able to see it all in one place, and that way I'm not like all shifty-eyed. Oh my gosh, side note, we have this game, my family, I love board games, and we have this game called Shifty-Eyed Spies. It's a pretty simple game. It comes in a small box. They have it at Target. But it involves like, you have a card, your spy, and where you're going to meet up for the transfer of material. And in order to meet up with one of the people you're playing against, you have to wink at them and like look at a spot on the board. It's not really a board, it's like individual things. So you have to like wink and look at a certain part of the table where you're playing. There's nothing funnier than winking at your in-laws. That's all I'm going to say. The first time we played it was with my niece who's like 22, she's 25, 24, I don't know, 23, I don't know. She's somewhere in there. And my husband had to wink at her. Anyway, this is how I get my kicks, is by making people uncomfortable, I think. I highly recommend this game. My kids love it. Even my 6-year-olds can play it now, and so they'll play it with their grandparents and stuff like that. It's super fun. We've yet to play it with another couple because we just don't go out very. Okay, anyway. But that would be funny too. In fact, I actually know who I should play it with because they're already like very conservative, and I just want to be like, all right, moving right along. So before I get started into like actual things that you might be here to hear about, I like to talk about books. That is my jam. As you know, I read Pride and Prejudice and Other Flavors, and I enjoyed it. It was a little more in the romance category than I normally listen to, but I did enjoy it. And then I read it, and then I listened to the audiobook because I wanted to hear them talk about food because I enjoy eating, and I enjoy Indian food in particular, and that was actually a big part of this book. I mean, the reader was fine. I'd give her a good solid 4. She definitely, people don't want to hear me read books. I think that's hard. But I enjoyed it. Anyway, and so I haven't actually moved on to a new book since we had that conversation 2 weeks ago. Audible has this thing where every month you can get Audible originals, if you're a member of Audible, which we are because I drive all the time. But you can get Audible originals up to 2 a month, I think. And so I like to do that because sometimes they have nothing I'm interested in. They do a lot of like celebrity background stories. I'll be perfectly honest, little known trivia about Jessica. I don't care about celebrities or anybody. Yeah, I don't. I feel like they need a little privacy in their life, and me, by not buying a magazine, I'm able to give it. I don't know. It's not really logical. But they also have like history of music. That's not really my jam. But occasionally they'll have something that does pique my interest, but I might not have paid for. And this is where I like, and they also do a lot of classics, but they'll do them in like a play form with multiple voices, and that's like on the border. I love the classics, but I get a little weirded out when it's different voices, and I don't know. Anyway, I give it a try because they're free and I love it. And I feel like Audible's not doing a good job of telling its members that you get 2 free Audible originals a month. So here's my thing. So one of them that I listened to a couple months ago was called The 3-Day Effect. And it talked about how people who have undergone trauma, if they go out in nature for 3 days, they can sort of reset their systems. This is fascinating. It's a very short book. It was perfect as an audiobook because the author actually interviews the people from the book in audio form, and so you get to hear their real voices, even though they have different names to hide their identity and whatnot. It talked about people with PTSD from being in the Iraq War, or sex trafficking workers, or whatever. It was fascinating, and it also applied to just, normal everyday mom who needs to clear her head and wants to get out for the weekend or whatever. And so then I shared it with my husband, and we're trying this renewed effort of getting outside more often because I think it's really easy to stay indoors, especially when it's 100 and whatever degrees outside. So I enjoyed that one. The one that I just downloaded this week is called It's Not What It Looks Like by Molly Burke. I'm not that far into this. This was one, she is a YouTube star. I don't know what you're supposed to call them. I joke with my children about being a YouTube star, and I love all of you, but I don't think that my 12 viewers, or maybe I'm up to 30 now, qualify me in that realm. So there won't be an audiobook about me anytime soon. But this particular YouTube star is blind, and she had a genetic disease that caused her to go blind in childhood. It's not my favorite to listen to. I don't know. It's just a little bit more animated than I have trouble focusing on. But the information in her life about things that just would never occur to me was really interesting. And so just now, when I turned it off after dropping the kids off at school, she was talking about how some TV shows are easier for her to watch than others. So again, she's blind. She's not, she can't see that like you can see me. But she can listen to Friends, the show Friends, partly because she was able to watch it before she went completely blind. So she has an idea of what everybody looks like. But partly it has to do with the dialogue. I thought this was just fascinating. So I'm sharing that one. I'm actually a little mad at Audible right now because they're having a 2-for-1 credit sale right now. And I found a book that I wanted, and then I quickly found another book, and then it wouldn't check out, and they're like, sale ends in an hour, and I'm like, I want my books. So one of the books that I was going to get that I've never read, and I think I might be the last American standing who's never read this, I'll go with American, although I think it's 30 million copies worldwide at this point, is Stephen Covey, 7 Habits for Highly Effective People. I've never read this book. It seems like a good idea at this point in my life as things get crazier and I'm trying to balance more and my house is a disaster. And I was just talking with Laura about this morning. I can either nag my children nonstop, clean it all myself, or just let it go to the dogs. And unfortunately, we've chosen option C at the moment. And so I need to find some sort of balance where I can get my own stuff done, partly for my own mental health and partly because it's my job, and then also help my children get their stuff done. And so there's actually a 7 Habits for Highly Effective Teens, which I might buy the audiobook and push it on my children. So anyways, that's on my mind. And then as part of that 2-for-1 sale, there was a Brene Brown book. If you've never read any Brene Brown or listened, I highly, highly, highly recommend listening to Brene Brown. I just listened to one called Dare to Lead, and she's hysterical. She's lovely. She kind of gets at those parts of me that the vulnerable parts that I try to keep hidden and lays them out. And I love it. So I highly recommend. So as soon as I get done here, I'm going to be going to Audible and trying to get my 2 books. So hopefully I'll be talking about one of those next week. The other thing that happened to me this morning is I have a standing desk. And usually I like to sit on a stool or stand during these videos. I don't know why, it's just my thing. And my desk isn't working. I'm pressing the button right now and no magic is happening. So I'm a little freaked out because it's not even a year old. But I think what happened is my husband was trying to get my Ethernet to work, which also doesn't work right now. And maybe he unplugged something, right? We're hoping. All right, moving right along. So hopefully you've already seen that we have released the Girls and Women's Sally skirts. Hopefully you take a moment to read the listings too. I mean, the bundle one's not that exciting, but there's some decent entertainment value to those. That's what happens when you don't sleep, folks. You get a little entertained with your own writing skills. So why should I try and get people to buy a simple skirt? Well, first off, it's not just a gathered rectangle. I think that there's probably more than one site out there where you can get a free skirt pattern that's a gathered rectangle and it's just poofy and it is what it is. This isn't that. And you can actually add elastic to it. Maybe we should do that. Why aren't we doing that? I'm just kidding. This is a skirt I actually like to wear. I like pockets in my skirts. And so I didn't want it super tight, but I also didn't want it super floofy. And while the woven version is gathered, it still has a little bit of shaping to it. So it's not just like super fluffy. So I'm going to show you an example of one that I made for my almost 13-year-old. She'll be 13 next month. This is a panel, maybe if I move back, there you go, that I got from Mood Fabrics for all of $8.90. And it's 55 inches wide, and so it's directional. So if you're making an adult one, you're going to need more than one panel. But for her size, I was able to squeeze it out of one, and I think it's just lovely. It's a cotton poplin. So it's not quite as drapey as, you know, a rayon challis or something like that, but it's gorgeous, and I can't wait to get photos of her. I showed these last week, the ones that I had made for my twins, my 6-year-olds, but I'll show them real quick just in case. We love sloths at our house. There we go. This is my favorite part about the new Sally skirt is this cute little knot detail, because my 11-year-old and my almost 13-year-old swear that tucking your shirt in is what you need to be doing right now. So you heard it here first, folks. Tuck your shirt in. But this way, I can make them the Mandy fitted tank. Which, when I say fitted, I get a little squeezy. I got to be honest, because I don't like things that are skin tight. But I'm happy to report that it's not. It's fitted. It's not skin tight. So it's not like wearing a leotard or a bodysuit underneath. If that's your jam, yay! It's not my jam. Anyway, we love sloths. And then here's the stripy one that I also made, because you have twins, you have to have two. Even though one of them doesn't really love skirts, she would still feel left out if I didn't take pictures of her. And then yesterday, I used this awesome fabric. I'm going to have to back up because this is my size, from Zenith and Quasar, and it is called their Yoga Swim Spandex, YSS. And if that's not what it stands for, somebody correct me, but I'm pretty sure that's what it stands for. I've used it for everything. I have used it for the swimsuit last summer. I've used it for workout clothes. I've used it for dresses. I really like summer dresses. It feels like butter, but not in a greasy way. It feels amazing. It's super smooth. The weight is really easy to sew with, and she is actually clearing out her end, and the waistband on this one is her heavy supplex, just FYI. But here's the best part. So yesterday I wrote a very easy blog post on how to make the Sally skirt into the Sally skort. I am a gusset girl if we want to overshare, so I put in a full gusset. But I'm so thrilled because typically, it's not today because it's raining, it's still 90 degrees here or more, and I don't like my thighs touching. I'm oversharing a lot today, but there you go. That's life. So the Sally skirt is another part of our basics line. Even though that waistband does not look basic, I guarantee you, I guarantee you that you'll be able to do it. It is a great, I agree, Mariana, all skirts need built-in shorts. That's just my MO, that my 6-year-olds feel the same way, probably for 2 different reasons, but anyway, even though that knot waistband doesn't look basic, I guarantee you'll be able to do it. We did as much hand-holding as we could possibly do without me climbing through the computer and literally sewing it for you. We have photos. We have some of the best drawings I've ever done in a tutorial that are complete with color and fabric design. And then the lovely Laura also did a video. So really, and guess what? We have this awesome supportive Facebook group that just passed a milestone, I believe. Let me actually look and see where it tells me how many people we have. Yes, we just passed 27,000 members in our Facebook group. So that's pretty exciting. We kind of blew past it with a whole 56 more members. But anyway, so I guarantee you that you'll be able to do it even if this is your first clothing ever. I promise. So those will be on sale. They're $7.95 regularly because they're part of our basics line. But you can get the bundle of women's and girls for as low as $12.75. Like, that's the same price as a movie here at some of the fancier movie theaters, which always makes me laugh. But, you know, that's not that much. It's like 2 burritos. A burrito and a half. It's not much. If you go to somewhere fancy, you know, it can be even more expensive than that. So, throw us a bone. The one thing I want to say, I don't know if I actually said this. Sorry, it's Tuesday. Zenith and Quasar has a lot of their YSS on sale right now for 50% off. Unfortunately, this one is sold out, and I bought a little bit more yesterday before I told you about it. But 50% off is like, it's ridiculously low priced, and it's beautiful fabric. I highly recommend. All right, moving right along, crossing things off my list left and right. So, last week's winner for the Wonder Tape, the Wash Away Wonder Tape, is Susan Sorgenfry. Sorgenfry. I'm terrible at pronunciation. I can spell so many things. But we're going to get her Wash Away Wonder Tape, and I'm pretty pumped about that because I went ahead and ordered myself some, and Amazon should be delivering it today. Other than that, it's fall, right? So all the fall activities have started. My kids are in 3,000 directions. And yet, my goal for the day is to make hotel reservations for both the winter, everything, the winter meet season for gymnastics. Here's a little known fact that you don't learn when your child first joins gymnastics. We have the meet schedule from December through April, and I literally have to make reservations now to make sure that we have hotel rooms in those locations. It's crazy. And we also have a wedding that we're going to in Minneapolis over Memorial Day next week. So today's productivity will be making hotel reservations. The other thing that I'm working on right now is a retreat. I don't know how far in advance the planning will have to be. This feels like this is actually what got me down the productivity food chain today about, you know, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Well, if the elephant is a retreat, that feels entirely overwhelming to me. Planning is not my forte. It's not my husband's forte. So I've spent a little bit of time starting to look at retreat locations. Personally, I don't just want to go to a hotel here in Atlanta. That would probably be the easiest. And maybe even the cheapest, I don't know. I really like a little mountain/lake view. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I was looking in like North Carolina. There's some beautiful lakes. That's if I'm ever able to buy a lake house, I have my lake in the works. I already know where I want to be. And finally, last night, as I couldn't sleep because I don't sleep, in case you're wondering, I've decided that like what we really need is multiple retreats. We need one on the West Coast and one in Canada. And this is where my husband starts laughing at me. Because, like, why not just one elephant? Let's make it 3 elephants. But anyway, we're not doing that. We're starting with 1. I'm not going to do my initial fallback to where I was like, well, how about I just test the water and rent a lake house and invite people to come sew with me as like a way to break myself into it. That feels like a cop-out. That does. It feels like I'm not quite buying into the whole retreat thing. So I have made a list of sponsors to contact, which is a lot of phone calls. I've made a list of possible locations. So this is my elephant. This is what I'm going to try and bite off. One of my local friends just commented on YouTube that she has a list of ideas that she's brainstormed. Man, I'll tell you what. Everybody needs a friend who makes them leave the house, and that would be Beth for me. Sometimes I tell her no, but then she sent me this email about getting couples together, and everybody else was replying all, and I didn't reply all, but I want to do it, but I didn't reply. We have issues here at the Pierce household, and it's called going out. I don't know. We just get in our habits, and we're surviving, and I don't want to live that life where you're just constantly surviving. I want to actually, like, enjoy it and embrace it. So, Beth, sign me up. We will go to axe throwing or something. All right, what else are we working on? Right now, Tasha is working on Henley patterns for boys and men. Those should go into testing pretty soon. And then I have a whole list of things. One thing that I'm working on is a basic skater dress with bands that is going to have a little bit different options than what we currently already have. So it's going to have, the problem is narrowing down the options, right? Because I'm like, oh, the options! And I have actually learned something in the last 4.5 years that sometimes if you have that many options, things don't get sewn up and you lose an opportunity to see it. And I love seeing those options. So it's definitely going to have a handkerchief hem as one of the options. It's also going to have a cowl neck because I think they're really pretty. And I think while I like to do just a basic band, I like a cowl neck. It's a way to dress it up a little bit. So that is actually going to be my next pattern. It's going to be a peplum and a dress. And the girls is almost done, but I am going to do it for women too because we don't have a handkerchief hem for women. So there you go. Something to look forward to. And that's all I have. I would love to know about book recommendations, or if you have retreat ideas, by all means, share them. My email is jessica@5outof4.com if you want to contact me. Or you can contact one of the team at info@5outof4.com. As always, we're super happy that you're here. I look forward to this fall. I've already broken out my first Eleanor cardigan. In fact, I will stand up and show it to you because, oh, you can't even see the hem. Maybe if I... I'm wearing blue jeans today. That's how cold it is. Don't mind that giant pile. This is one of my favorites. It's not lined or anything, but it's cozy. And it's rainy, and all I want to do is get back in bed and watch Netflix today, but I'm trying to be productive, so here I am, living it up in blue jeans and an Eleanor cardigan. All right, that's all I have for you. As always, thank you for joining us. Invite your friends to join us, and think about retreat ideas. If there's a certain something you want to learn, if there's like classes or just sew along or whatever, I'm open to your ideas and your wisdom because goodness knows I need to crowdsource for this one. Until next week, thank you for being here.